appreciate the response that Mr. Duncan gave, and so I'm not going to ask you to repeat all that. But, you know, I did want to add that the LNG provisions in the legislation will have the benefit of creating jobs at home while creating more demand from world markets, creating a positive cycle that will reinforce itself. And on the Ways and Means Committee, we've been pressing for more aggressive pursuit of expanding export markets for American-made goods. And I appreciate that this bill helps incentivize American exports of energy products. And I do have to just, the minority is trying so hard. They are working very hard to make the narrative about this bill is that it's this horrible pollution, you know, we'll have smog issues, all kinds of things that they're trying to do. But I just want to ask you again, to be clear, this bill does not change existing environmental laws. Is that correct?
Well, I appreciate the question because I think it's very important for people to know that we leave in place the high environmental standard. Oops.
Is it
okay,
on?
thank you.
Oh, no, maybe it.
The high environmental standards in place. But what we do is we give some flexibility for solid waste disposal permits, flexible air permits, TSCA reviews for critical energy resources. I think in our effort to increase domestic energy production and to embrace new innovation technology for clean energy innovations and technologies, I think we all recognize that the permitting and the regulatory climate in this country is a big barrier. And it's been, and certainly in the last 2 years, we've seen the Biden administration shutting down a lot of energy projects, whether it's natural gas or anything else. And so what we're trying to do is a very targeted approach where we make sure is very focused, is very precise. Any of the streamlining of the permitting processes that we put in place for critical mineral processing, for refining, it's very focused and precise to maintain those high environmental standards. America has the highest environmental standards in the world, and we all want to make sure that we have clean air and clean water. The reality is, though, that we are making ourselves, under the current approach, the current energy priorities of this administration, we're making ourselves dependent upon China. And it makes no sense to me. You know, we've spent 40 years to become energy independent. And, you know, 40 years to become energy independent because we were concerned about being dependent upon OPEC for oil and meeting our energy needs. And now we've lost energy independence and we're more focused on China. China's been termed the OPEC of green energy. China's overall share of energy mineral processing is actually, you know, it surpasses OPEC's dominance. 40% of copper, 70% of cobalt, 90% of rare earth minerals. And if we are going to process, refine, mine in the United States of America, we have to address the permitting. And I think to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, I would just urge them, they need to come to the table with us on this. We need, you know, for the average federal permit now to take 7 years, any project that has federal funding to take 7 years, that's going to delay any kind of transition more than anything else.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. So I will sum it up. And what this is really about is speeding up the regulatory review so those who want to invest can get to simply get to yes or no quicker. And I will just finish up by explaining that this is really welcome news because in Minnesota, we recently saw the completion of the Enbridge Line 3 replacement project. And you know, it was a massive LNG pipeline project that runs directly through my congressional district. And the regulatory process alone took 6 years, 13,000 pages of environmental and analysis, 70 public comment meetings, and 4 separate legal reviews, and 320 route modifications. And this was just to repair and replace an existing pipeline and infrastructure project. And so it is long overdue that we look at these review processes, because we are just absolutely disincentivizing anyone from investing and taking the years and years it takes to get these through. So I appreciate this, and I think that you made it very clear that this is not about any kind of, lessening or lowering any kind of environmental standards, but making sure that we are doing our best to get those folks that want to invest the ability to invest. So with that, Mr. Chair, I will yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. Chair thanks. The gentlelady from Minnesota. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Colorado.
I thank the chair. First and foremost, I want to thank all the witnesses for being here today, and will preface my remarks to say that I have great respect for, of course,